They say I was quiet the whole day. I didn't eat. I didn't want to have shower. I didn't want to do anything. So my son was born at 11:43 in the morning, and I did not see my son until night. I did not want to go to the incubator. My documents, it says Stefania has been diagnosed with trauma, postnatal depression, and anxiety. I couldn't go to the incubator. I'm a first mom, and I just don't know what is happening. Like, is my child going to be able to even have a girlfriend? As soon as I saw my son, I realized he has Down syndrome. It's going to sound very sensitive what I'm going to say, but it was a rejection straight away.
Welcome to the Motherhood Group podcast. I'm Sandra Igwe, your host, and we are talking real stories, honest discussions, unfiltered truth. And we're leaving absolutely no crumbs left untouched. This is where Black maternal experiences take center stage unapologetically. So settle in, but don't get too comfortable. These stories will move you, challenge you, and remind you that you're never, ever alone. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Motherhood Group podcast with Sandra Igwe. I am really honoured to have a very special guest. Her story has really taken whirlwinds of turns from left to right, up and down, from the moment her baby arrived. I am here with Estefania, who really is the epitome of strength, resilience, and so much courage. I only know very, very little of your story, but I am very keen to hear your story in depth because I know that there are so many layers to it. Could you just tell our audience today who you are and just very little about your story as a whole?
For sure. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Sandra, for having me here today. It's an honor and pleasure. As you said, my name is Estefania, and I'm a mom who has gave birth a little boy, very cute one, 2 years old, with, unfortunately, it was a C-section emergency. He was born at 36 weeks, and 36 weeks, yeah. And it was a diagnosis coming into it, which I didn't know. I was not aware at all until birth.
Okay, so he had a diagnosis at birth, and can you share what the diagnosis is? That's okay.
For sure. At this stage, obviously, I now feel very, very strong to talk about it. And he was diagnosed with trisomy 21, which is called, as everyone, Down syndrome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So take me through your entire experience, your pregnancy, your birthing experience, and now he's 2 years old, and you feel confident enough and bold enough and strong enough to say that your son, has Down syndrome. What did that look like as a journey from the start to where you are today?
Well, you mean in terms of the Down syndrome, right?
Yes.
So obviously my pregnancy was amazing.
It was amazing.
To be honest, they always say boys, they don't give too much trouble when they're in the womb. But I was like that. I was working very hard, and I was, even until 8 months, I was still working. But until one point, I had the last scan, and they took me to explain to me they can see a little shadow on his stomach. And they say, it doesn't look nothing to worry about, but a specialist will be better to see it so they can assist. I say, that's fine. So the specialist explained to me this type of shadow, it leads to, how do you call it? Something it can be called duodenal atresia stenosis. So this is a type of surgery needs to be done as soon as the baby is going to be born, and is 50-50 linked to Down syndrome. So obviously you see me on the scan, having the scan, and I see suddenly they're telling me this news, and I was already 34 weeks.
So prior to 34 weeks, you were going for checks, and they were saying everything is fine. And so you were going through a positive pregnancy, you said,
Yes.
And you didn't have any doubts about this is your first child?
Yes, he is.
So talk me through your emotions when they said they saw this shadow, because shadow can mean, anything. What's a shadow? Like, there's shadows everywhere, right?
Yeah, I know. At the beginning, I was just like, maybe it's just the scan, it has a faulty or something, That's what I thought. But then they direct me to the Oxford Hospital, so they can have a proper checkup. Over there is when I have more than seven specialists in the room. They were actually looking into it deeply. They actually said, you know what, we cannot really confirm because he's 8 months now. And even if you do the test called amniocentesis, the one they put the needle, it's a quite risk because it's already full term.
Okay.
So basically, I didn't have no chance to find out.
So you declined or you said no?
I couldn't even declare no, because if I do it, it could be a risk for him to pass away, because it's very high chance for him to pass away. It's very risky that test at that time.
At that 8 months.
At the aim, exactly. So I have to basically wait. I have to wait until he was just born.
And from 8 months until he was born, what did waiting look like for you? Because that looks different to everybody, right?
I was not even in focus anymore, because I didn't know what exactly was going on. They were even telling me his oxygen levels, they were not right. They were even telling me he might not even made it by 9 months. So what happened is, they said, I think we need to induce you before. So by 36 weeks is when they induced me, because they say the oxygen levels, they're going very down. He is actually suffering quite a lot inside. So if we wait a bit, we don't know.
Okay.
So they booked me for an appointment, and luckily that weekend my mommy was there. Because she came to help me to, we like to, pack the clothes, iron everything. She came just to make sure everything is prepared, my friends as well. And my mommy was like, I can't believe I'm going to see my grandson in this trip, because it was still 1 month for me to give birth.
And obviously your mum wasn't in the country, so you're not, obviously people don't know that you are from Spain originally.
Yes, exactly.
And your family and most of your friends are back home in Spain.
That's where they live.
You're going through, them telling you there's a shadow at 34 weeks, you're going to be induced at 36 weeks. And you don't necessarily have that community or that support around you. And so waiting must have been really hard.
It was very hard. I was keep crying. I was keep, talking with my friends. And the crying, I just don't want anyone to misunderstand. The crying, it was because I didn't know what was going to happen.
It was the unknown.
It's just an unknown situation where you're expecting your first child and you are thinking, what? Suddenly something is quite bright and suddenly everything is going dark in a way. Not dark for the diagnosis, dark in a way like everything I planned, the birth, the water birth, no. It's going to be emergency C-section. I didn't even think it was going to be an emergency C-section. So luckily that weekend my mommy was there. I got admitted on a Friday. My son was born on a Sunday, in the morning. I have to hold the pain for the whole night, Saturday. It was horrible, throwing up. But they were very lovely in the hospital. They were putting me lights, candles, a lot of things. As soon as they could see I was not dilating.
Okay.
They say, okay, we need to put a epidural, because I was also suffering a lot. As soon as they put the epidural, his heartbeat started to drop. And you can imagine, suddenly you see like more than 20 people coming into the room. It was like a movie. They were changing me my clothes quickly, changing the clothes of my son's father as well, doing everything very quick, just spraying me everywhere, saying, can you feel this part? Can you feel the other part? And then suddenly I'm in the theater. I've never been in the theater before. And they say, no, we need to do C-section. I was hoping I was not going to be cut. And I was just like, okay.
You were hoping that you weren't going to be cut?
Yes.
Was there some sort of like preconceived notion about what emergency C-section entailed?
I just C-section? Wanted to feel the natural birth.
Okay.
And I was hoping to do the water birth because I heard it was more relaxing and helpful. But it didn't happen that way.
And that's the thing with birth, it can be so unpredictable. And we might have all the plans, we might have all of the sort of like how we believe it's going to happen. And on the day, it doesn't work like that. Your mum is there during this period. What's going through your mind? Like this is her first grandchild, if I'm just guessing. What did she say? Did she try to comfort you? And do you believe also that the healthcare practitioner supported you in that journey? Because obviously that as Black women, we often feel like we're not treated with kindness, with care and respect, or that we have, sort of not access to these spaces. Did you feel supported? And if so, Why?
Yeah, I was going to. Yeah, it's not my mom's first child. It's basically the third. I think the fourth already.
wow.
Because I'm the last born
Got
on
it.
the family. And yeah, answering your question as well. Thank you. Is the treat I had from Oxford, it was amazing.
Okay.
Like even when I was lying down, when I could not feel it, but I could sense when they were doing the cut, I could feel someone who was talking to me on my ear saying, "Don't worry, we are here for you. Don't worry." One was holding my hand, the other one he was putting some smell on my on my nose. It was very, very nice. But when the baby came out, it was just a tough moment. It was very, very tough moment. But overall, I had a very good treatment in Oxford. But I know if this maybe happen in other hospitals, I know it won't be the same. I think I was very lucky and God knew what he was doing, because if I was giving birth my local place, I don't know. I don't think so. It would be a good place.
So you went to a specialist area where
They choose it.
They chose the
They
specialist.
chose the place. Yes, thank God. Yes, they did. They did. Obviously, because I didn't knowing the shadow was in my baby's stomach. My local hospital won't be able to do that. So that's why they say Oxford has to get into this type of surgery for sure.
So you mentioned that the moment that you gave birth, things were difficult from that point onwards. What did that look like in terms of, how you were feeling, how your baby was responding, and just your overall sort of experience of, finally you've been met with this child that they suspected 50% had Down syndrome. Did you know in your hearts of hearts when you saw him that, yes, he does have Down syndrome?
As soon as I saw my son's eyes, kids with Down syndrome, they usually tend to have almond eyes, where the eyes, they can be quite sharp, and going a bit more pointy. As soon as I saw my son, I realized he has Down syndrome. And it's going to sound very sensitive what I'm going to say, but it was a rejection straight away.
The reason why it was a rejection is because the unknown of what Down syndrome is, the shock, the trauma. I just feel no one can right now understand how I was feeling that moment until you don't go for a trauma. I've never been in depression in my life. I never had trauma in my life. This is the first time I actually experienced this type of feelings. And I'm not going to lie to you, now going backwards, I wish I could have changed that situation. But a lot of people, even the specialists, they treat me, psychologists, they say, this is a moment your brain is completely blocked. Like, there is nothing you can do. It was the same when someone has an accident. The trauma, they can go through it afterwards. It's very big. So my son was born at 11:43 in the morning, and I did not see my son until night.
Wait, oh my gosh.
I did not wanted to go to the incubator. I couldn't go to the incubator, knowing suddenly I'm a first mom, and I just don't know what is happening, like where. And the reason also is just right now, how is the situation in terms of kids with special needs? It's very advanced. When I was going to school and I was going to any other places, when you see kids with special needs, the way it's been look different, So I was just not seeing this the way it's right now, like it's so advanced, like they're able to achieve a lot of things, Back in the days, the stereotypes, they were very negative,
Yep.
So that was exactly what's on my head about what people are going to say. In your community, the first thing you see, like, maybe some family members, oh, look, what happened to her? That's the first thing that start to come into your head. They start to think, am I going to hide my child now? Is it my child is going to be able to even have a girlfriend? Is it my child is going to be able to even achieve an activity with the rest of his homeschool mates? So it's a lot of things running into my head. And that is probably the way what my family told me, because I don't remember a lot of things. They say I was quiet the whole day. I didn't eat. I didn't want to have shower. I didn't want to do anything. My daddy was on a video call. My daddy was crying, but the reason why he was crying is because I'm his last born. I'm his eyes. And seeing me, no reaction, he was like, this is not my daughter. my daughter is full of joy, is full of energy, is full of, don't worry, dad, go through it. But I was a completely different person. It's like my soul was completely gone. Like, you couldn't even recognize me. The people know me, even my best friend here, she knows me very well. She did not even recognize me. So at one point, my mom talked to me very nicely and she said, you know what, you need to go and see him. He's there alone. You need to go. So we went there and suddenly I saw a little cube. He was chubby. I couldn't believe it. I was like, he's a big boy. He was 165. It was a big one. And it's already 8 months. Imagine 9, you know. It was a big boy, but it was full of cables. Full of cables, full of cannulas. You know, even to pick him up, you couldn't, you know. It was very big boy, but it was very strong. It was very strong. As soon as I give him my hand, my finger, he held it very tight. So 50% I was there as a mother. 50% my brain, it was like, why I'm here? Why I cannot be at home with my child, enjoying my birth, having massive balloons, people coming to my house, spoiling me with gifts and food, because I love to eat. But it was not the case, because I didn't even expect I was going to be in the hospital for 2 months.
Wow. Stefania, you've said so much, and I am holding back my own tears. It's quite an emotional few sentences that you've just shared. So much I can't even really fathom how you must have felt then and how you're feeling now. I can definitely see that you have some sort of victorious sense about you, that you've overcome maybe one of the hardest hurdles of your life. So I just want to commend you again for coming here and sharing your story.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate you doing that. When you gave birth and you saw your son, you said immediately you felt like you rejected him. And that, for me, is quite a strong statement to say, but also very honest. I just want to thank you again for being vulnerable in your transparency. Not many mothers would want to ever admit that their initial reaction or response to their child, their newborn child, is one of rejection. But I also understand it's because of what you have been fed or thought beforehand, you know, that, you know, children that have special needs or might have Down syndrome, how society might have perceived them, that inadvertently you had maybe perceived that as well. And obviously, holding your child, you know, 9 hours later, I can only imagine the trauma you had gone through for you to get to that stage. I know when I gave birth, very similar, I didn't want to look down, but it took me maybe 2 minutes before I looked down. But the nurses didn't quite understand why I didn't want to look down. But trauma can sometimes make you kind of disassociate, which means basically you kind of are not yourself. You kind of leave your body in some sense. So when you finally held your baby, was that feeling of rejection still there, or were you trying to embrace your newborn child? And you can be honest.
I am honest. I am definitely going to be honest. And to be honest, Sandra, whoever is listening now to this podcast, I'm very sorry, but the judgment is only God can judge me. You understand? Because me rejecting my child is not something I wanted to do.
Of course.
It just came unexpected. It just came something some feelings I didn't even know that they could even exist. Because I never reject someone in my life.
Wow.
So me holding my child, there were very lot of emotions because I'm actually holding a baby was in my womb. I'm actually having some connection, but at the same time I'm having like something is in my head thinking, how is going to be the life now? How is going to be my life? Am I going to be able to carry on with my life? Am I going to be able to carry on doing what I used to do before? Being a mother, but now being a mother of a child who has special needs. So it was a lot of things. When I was saying earlier, 50-50, you know why I said that? Because despite all my documents, it says Stefania has been diagnosed with trauma, postnatal depression and anxiety. He had my milk. I breastfeed him. So regardless of that rejection, I knew in my head, breastfeeding is the best for a child. So he had an NG tube. NG tube is a tube they put to the kids. They are maybe going under a surgery where all the feeding is going through that tube. That tube is going through the nose, and that nose is connected to the stomach, okay? But it's going from inside. So at the beginning, he didn't have NG tube when I hold him because he didn't have the first surgery first. The duodenal trachea stenosis. This type of surgery involves the stomach because there is a blockage on the stomach where it leads to the child not be able to eat properly. Eats, but it doesn't go to the stomach. It might come back. Okay. So he will vomit, or it might make his tummy very swollen, which is very common on kids with Down syndrome. So when my child was born on 29, he was getting surgery 2 days after. So that's why I had to stay in the hospital. Okay. And they put after that the NG tube because he won't be able to be feeding anything he wants as any other child. They need to control the grams he's going to be taking to make sure bit by bit the feeding and the tummy is accepting that food. Okay. So that's why he had the NG tube. So I have to be holding a tube, putting my milk.
In the tube?
Yeah, like a syringe,
Yes.
big syringe, and put my milk there, put my milk there, and let the milk to come down through and hold it until that syringe doesn't finish. That means I cannot stop, because if you put it down, it doesn't go through it.
Oh my. And you were holding it up?
Yeah, all the time. And all that time, even at home. When my child was discharged, he was still having the NG tube in his nose. So they have to train me. If they NG tube come out, they have to train me how I can put it back. And I go train as well for that. But when that happened, I called them. I said, you just come and put it on because I can't, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was a very that moment, it was a lot of feelings. So yeah, the connection, it was a connection, but at the same time, I still wanted a distance from him. Yeah, I still wanted a distance. That's the stage from the first surgery, so we can carry on. I will tell you the rest.
So he had surgery 2 days later. You're battling with feelings of, acceptance, rejection, acceptance, but knowing that you have a duty of care over your son.
Yes.
Breastfeeding, expressing. And then you mentioned you're going through postnatal depression. That's a lot for one person to manage. What did postnatal depression look like? Because we always look at postnatal depression as a standalone issue, but we don't really necessarily speak about how it links into, supporting a baby that's going through multiple surgeries, and obviously special needs. And I'm guessing as well, you wanting to have your support network around, because I know, you're at the time you were still kind of new to England.
Yes.
As well, exactly. So what does that look like on a day-to-day basis, postnatal depression at that moment?
So I'm always been as I said, a very, happy person. I'm the light most of the time. And my friends, they know, like, I'm always doing, like, silly things. And they're like, Fafa, it's okay. Just calm down. It's fine. But I was just completely off. Like, there was no joke. You would actually make me smile. I'm telling you. My friends, they were actually... between them, they were talking to know how we are going to make her to come back. So I didn't want to have shower. They have to shower me by force. If I had braids, the braids could stay there for even 4 months, 6 months. I didn't even care. Like, I did not care at all about myself. If my child was crying, I would just look at him and I say, okay, you're crying. I'm crying too. So who is helping to who, But it was very, very bad. It was very bad. I was keep looking always down. All the time I was looking at the ceiling. And my vision, it was completely straightforward to something. I didn't know what I was looking at. But I was not considering what it was around me, which my child maybe was like, you want maybe a cuddle? I was just like, no cuddle, nothing. It took me 8 months to connect with him.
It took you 8 months to form a bond with your child?
Yes, 8 months.
And what was the breaking period? Why 8 months? Was it like a snap, or was it like gradually over towards that 8 months, or did something happen?
So obviously, as I mentioned, he had several surgeries.
How many surgeries?
3
So he's had 3 surgeries under the age of 2 years old.
under the age of 1.
Under the age of 1.
Yeah. So the last surgery when he was 11 months. And when we got discharged from the first surgery, on that time he was in the hospital, they realized he does not consistent open his bowels. And a baby all the time, usually, is opening his bowels because they are feeding every 3 hours.
Yes.
So they say something is actually not looking right, but just to make sure, we need to do a test. They took an example from his colon, and they analyzed that, and they could see there were not a lot of nerve cells on the bottom of the colon. I think I'm explaining it properly. So when they told me, I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Your Charlie has Hasbron's disease."
So he had Heart-Brown's disease.
Hasbron's disease. Yes.
Hashbrown's disease.
Yes.
So what is Hashbrown's disease?
Hasbron's disease is basically, it means some part of the colon, the thick, I believe the thick intestine, I think. I hope I'm explaining it properly, what they draw it. So the one is going through, and the end is going to be the anus, that one.
Okay.
So that one is basically what happened. He's said to have maybe the size of the microphone, let's say. Then imagine, it's like this.
It's too small.
So at the beginning, it's going to have the size of the microphone, but then suddenly we come thin and thin and thin until the anus. So that's why he was not opening the bowels constantly, because it's a blockage there. It's not blockage, it's very small, very narrow, very small. So all that area is very thin. They have to cut it. They cut it and they pull everything down.
Oh my goodness.
For the big size to actually be connected to the anus, so he can actually open his bowels correctly.
Wow, okay.
But guess what? They say to me, I have 2 choices. One, it will be to before the procedure, to making a cut here and put a back, a stoma, I think they call it. So on that time until the surgery, he can actually pull you could see the back there. You will be able to see it.
Gosh, oh my goodness.
Or the other choice is for me to get trained again, put like a kind of like that, smaller, through the anus, but with lubricant, and then put pressure with water.
Water?
So, yeah, water, obviously the water they gave me in the hospital.
Okay.
And then that pressure will bring...
Like enema, like a...
Exactly.
Okay.
So they say, I need to choose. And I say, of course I'm going to choose the second choice. I don't want my child to have the bag coming out, because that can get infected. So I got trained and I got home with that. So I couldn't go barely anywhere, because I had to open his bowels in the morning and I had to open his bowels in the evening. And sometimes I was doing it alone. So imagine you holding your child's legs, putting a tube on his anus for you to be, and you need to be waiting and massage the tummy at the same time, so the poo start to come, because it's coming liquid. It comes a bit like a open bowel but it's very, very liquid. So you need to wait until you see, okay, it looks like it finished, and then you leave it. And I have to constantly be looking at his tummy. Is he getting hard? Is he getting bigger? Because if it gets bigger, that means I need to go quickly and do it. So I was dealing with the NG tube at home, and I was dealing with the tube on his anus.
That is a lot of work for you, physical work, but that can also take a toll on your mental health as well. And just looking at that situation, that, looking out for his stomach, looking out for his can cause anxiety as well.
A lot.
Did you have anxiety?
Yes, I was constantly coming all the time. I have to go to the window to breathe, because I was feeling like there is something on my chest, very high, like a big stone. And I was not able to remove that stone from my chest, And it was coming suddenly. Like suddenly I'm okay, and suddenly I'm just like crying without no reason. And I didn't want to eat either, So it was a lot of things happening. I didn't want to dress up. I was looking at myself and like, I don't have the same shape body as I used to have before. So all that plus the birth, the unknown diagnosis, it was a lot to take. It was a lot to take. But then, luckily, one day my son said, you know what, Mama? I don't need this NG tube. He pulled it himself. At 5 months. 5 or 4 months, I remember.
What happened at 5 months?
Yeah, suddenly I was at home, and suddenly I was just looking at him. He was just lying down, because kids with Down syndrome, they have hypotonia. Hypotonia means they tend to be more floppy. So at 5 months, he was still not sitting. Okay. So he was just lying down on his chair, and he just did like this. He just pulled it. He pulled it. And for us, he said, we understood he doesn't need it. This is God telling us, your son is able to eat, but they're doing it just to maybe prevent, so he doesn't get, maybe sick or anything, but he doesn't need it. He took it out. Since that day, my son, he ate fruits. Then from 6 months, solids. From them, he likes to eat everything. When they did the surgery for Hasbro's disease, it only took us 4 days. At the 4th day, my son, he was looking at me. I think we can leave, because he was fine. He was opening his mouth perfectly. Even the doctors, they were like, "This is actually quite surprising, because the recovering is very quick."
Is that what they said to you?
Yeah, they have to take an example, and they say the cells are very good. He has a very strong movements there.
Good.
This boy, he will be okay as soon as he eats. We left. Since that day, thank God, we never have to go for any extra surgery or any no. As soon as this boy is eating, the bowels are already opening.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
My goodness. So since that day, he pulled it out. That was a sign that he doesn't need.
He doesn't need it.
Did you see your mental health improve?
No. No.
I'm glad we're able to laugh through it. So why no? You would think that, going through that and then obviously him getting better, seeing improvements, that you would start to get better and see improvements of your mental health as well.
I was still having that mindset of Down syndrome. Okay. It was still on my head. So luckily I decided to go to see my family, because I need it.
In Spain?
Yes, and I stayed there for quite long. My mom booked me, my mom found me a private psychology, very good one in Spain, a male. And the questions that were coming on that small room, it makes me to realize, I didn't have the problem. He didn't have a problem. My child didn't have no issue. It was my issue. I was the one having the issue to not understand, just because it's a child that has special needs. I should just change my mindset.
So you went back to Spain to get psychological support or help or counselling, and you were speaking to this practitioner, and then that's when you realised you were the one that had a problem.
Yeah.
Did he give you any sort of support of going through the problem, and also what recovery looked like for you?
He was making me to understand what is perfect life for me. What is a perfect child for me? Well, the people you see probably in social media, they look so nice, perfect, like mom, dad, one girl, one boy, and all happy, living life. That's amazing for them. But nothing is perfect behind the scenes of that family. Just because you have a child with a special need, that doesn't mean your life is not perfect. It might not be perfect for the ones they see you, but it will be perfect for you, because you are the one needs to do the perfect thing, not them thinking your life is not perfect. So it started to make me to realize, if you don't change the situation you're going through, the situation is going to change you. And it's true. I started to take my child to baby spas, to baby rooms. And also the smiles he started to bring out. This boy started to put light on my darkness. So when we started to do that, bit by bit, we started to get, connection, and at one stage, one day I sat down and I said, you know what? I think I need to start to look for help. the difference in Spain and UK.
Yeah.
Spain, as soon as you have a child, for example, in this case, has Down syndrome, they have a protocol. They have a plan. As soon as they know in your womb you are carrying a child with a diagnosis,
They support you.
in general,
Yeah.
they have a protocol, test, analysis. They have a specific schools, but no schools for special needs.
No.
General, where they give you support for speech and language, occupational therapy, and they guide you through. But I have not received that here.
No, that's not.
I have not received that here. So my sister started to send me people she was finding on social media, moms, they have kids with Down syndrome and they're already very advanced, for me to get motivated.
Good.
My cousins as well. So there is a woman, I'm very grateful, this woman, her name is Sandy. She lives in Miami, she's from Venezuela. Because without this woman, I don't know where I could be. She has a child with Down syndrome, a girl. She's probably now 5 years. She speaks Spanish and English, the little girl. But that woman, the way she studied, since she knew she has a child with Down syndrome, is incredible. You know who is our teacher now? Her. She built a massive community of women. They have kids with Down syndrome where we do, women, probably their parents, dads as well,
yeah.
where she gives courses. Some they can be, free webinars. Some they are, you
And
pay.
have you joined the webinars?
Since day one. I go so much. So sometimes I'm sleeping at 2 a.m., reading, studying, reading books, understanding what Down syndrome is. And this is what I'm trying to make you understand, parents. You have a child. You need to understand what is the weakness of the child. You need to understand what is the best of your child. Use it. You cannot say just because my child has special needs, I'm just going to leave my child there on a side on the corner and it's going to be growing without not even be able to go to the sea. No, sorry. I was grateful for this woman because even give us a lot of a speech of her journey. She even had, I think, one miscarriage after the first child because she has two. So she has one first child, if I'm not mistaken, and then she wrote a book as well. And then after that, she had the little girl she has Down syndrome. But this little girl, she does everything. 2 languages, Spanish and English.
She speaks.
She speaks 2 languages. She reads. But this is the thing. When you start to read and understand, kids with special needs, they are very intelligent. You just need to polish.
Yes.
It's a lot of how do you call it? It's a lot of time you need to actually
Invest
put
time
into
and
it.
resource,
Which
yeah.
mother doesn't put time in their kids?
Every mother.
If
Well,
you are a
both,
mother,
you have to.
if you call yourself a mother, you put time in your kids. Because you have to take them to swim class, after club.
Yes.
You have to take them to football. The other one is going to ballet. The other one, is it not time?
Time.
It's the same.
But I love how you mentioned that essentially knowledge is power. Once you educated yourself, that empowered
Yeah.
you to support your son
Yeah.
better, to support yourself better, and to know that it's not the end of the road.
No.
It doesn't have to be the end of the road. And
No,
I
at
love
all.
that watching other mothers who have gone through what you are about to go through empowered you. This is why we have the podcast.
Exactly.
To show that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and people who have gone through whatever hurdles, hardships, challenges, burdens, there is hope. There is hope. And I
Yes.
look at you right now as a woman living in hope, living
Yes.
at the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, that's the name of my son.
Light.
No, it means light.
What's his
My
name?
Uriel is one of the archangels on the
Yes!
Bible,
Oh my
and it means the angel of the light.
Oh, that's gonna
So
be great.
you say it right, you say it right, So this is what I'm saying, and you know what? On the 3rd surgery,
Yes.
I was tough. I was looking like I just came out from the army. I was like this. Even the nurses, they were like, Fafa, are you okay? I said, yes. No tears. No tears. I was saying, my son, you are there in that bed because they need to do something. But this is not your house. Make sure you wake up. Make sure you stand up. But it was very poorly. He had fever for 2 days. The fever was not coming. They put him adrenaline. They put him extra dose from one hospital to another. Then when he go to the hospital, he was very poorly, where he has to be intubated for 3 weeks. My son, he was 11 months and he was looking like a 3-year-old, how puffy of the fluids. It was a very shock thing to see. She was there, my best friend, she was there. And seeing a tube like this in your child's mouth, it was quite shocking, you know. So luckily, he got out of it at the 4th month. It was 4th week, sorry. And he was fine. As soon as I look at him and say, you see, we're living. I went to buy him balloons. He was holding the balloon. When they told me we're leaving, I bought him balloons. I said, we're leaving because this is not your house. You need to leave. But I'm not going to lie to you. Since the first time my son was born, I was following a pastor on social media. People, they were telling me, I was like, to be honest, I was just very negative about everything. But they were just putting me the pastor. In the morning at 6 a.m., they were putting me the pastor. At one point, I was just playing the pastor by myself, which her name is Pastor Jerry.
I thought so.
Elroy, yeah. And I was just like, no, I don't want to listen to him. But at one point, he was just coming. And even the song at the beginning, you know, when he's playing Pastor Jerry, that song is always on my head.
That's crazy because I was actually going to ask you that as my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Because I know you mentioned, you know, when your son took the tube out and it was like God was giving you a sign. I wanted to ask, you know, how has faith played a part of your journey? Because no matter how much I try to avoid it on this podcast, someone always brings up, you know, how God has impacted their maternal journey, motherhood journey, or their journey through hardship. How has your faith or leaning on faith, because obviously the pastor is a Christian, right?
Yeah.
How has that impacted your journey? Because it seems as though it has. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but it seems as though it has helped strengthen or provided you with that additional sort of empowerment on your journey when it feels quite bleak, you know?
A lot. I have not been a very consistent Christian, and this is the truth. Haven't been.
Nobody is.
So that's why when they told me you need to follow this pastor, I was like, oh, come on, I have so much things to do. And my head was just like, no. And right now I don't want to listen to anyone. Something on Pastor Jerry was just coming into my head to the point like playing me myself alone. Suddenly, I just go to YouTube, waking up at 5:45 in the morning and listening to him. It was just incredible. And since then, I have not stopped. I'm not going to say I'm every day listening to it, but it's always, if I have to listen to someone, it's him. I'm in his WhatsApp group as well. I saw him when he came to England last year on the stadium. I'm waiting, so he's coming this year. My faith has grown a lot. My maturity has grown a lot. It humbles me. To have a child as well humbles me a lot. Not everyone gets more humble. Not everyone gets to that stage. You know, I have to understand. I have to make sure I listen to people. I want to have more empathy, you know, because that's something I'm going to have to do when my child is going to be a grown-up. You understand? And not because he has a special needs. Just because when you're a mother, you need to have empathy anyways. So it's been an amazing journey of faith where now sometimes I call some aunties and we pray at night, at 12 a.m. at night. We pray together. Auntie Pat and Auntie Linda, we pray at night. They pray with me. Even if I'm not praying with them, they send me a message, say, we pray for you. This is going to be the scripture. And I read it to it, you know. And my favorite scripture is Isaiah 41:10, when it says, don't be afraid. I'm with you, you know. I will hold you with my hand, with my loving hand. And for me, this is what it's saying. God, you should not be afraid because I have something for you. You should not be afraid because regardless what the situation, leave the worries for me. Don't worry about it. You understand? I'm the one who should be worrying about your mental health. I'm the one who's going to be help you to get through it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But right now, I have peace. I didn't have peace before because I didn't know what's happening with my child. I was just constantly thinking, how is going to grow by 1? Now it's 2. Doctors, they were saying my child might not walk by 3 years. My child started to walk at 18 months. My child started to crawl at 13 months. It started to sit at 7, stand up at 8, and crawling by 3. Because the stereotypes and the statistics of kids with Down syndrome, they tend to do everything late because the hypotonia. But what people doesn't understand, okay, I'm a mother. What is hypotonia? I read it, I understand what I can do better. I started to do exercise with my son for me to make the hypotonia better. It's not gonna go, but we'll make it stronger. But if you see my son right now, the way he will scatter right now all this place, and it's only 2 years plus.
He can walk now.
It was since 18 months, and they were expecting 3 years.
You see?
But why? Giving massage, occupational therapy 3 times a week, following all the details they were giving me on the therapy. Because you can go therapy, but you need to make sure you apply everything they tell you to do. You go gym, you want to lose 10 kilos. But if you go gym once in a month, how you want to lose 10 kilos? You go gym with your personal trainer, you need to make sure whatever your personal trainer is telling you, to make sure you carry on at home,
Yes.
or at the gym by
Maintain it.
yourself.
Maintain it, yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
I'm going to therapy. I'm always writing down everything they want me to do. In a week, I have to make sure all that is stick. When I come back, I let them know where are the struggles. So we carry on and we improve. So this is what I've been doing with my child. Occupational therapy, private, everything private.
Okay.
Because if I follow public health, it will be seen every 3 months.
Yeah.
So I'm going occupational therapy every week. I'm going speech and language every week in London. So from Milton Keynes to London, imagine the journey. I'm doing swimming class every week. He's going physiotherapy, so on and off. And then sometimes I do online courses where they can carry on guiding me. Whatever I do here is the same I do in Spain. Every time I'm going to Spain, we do exactly the same. We do the follow-up, and sometimes I join all the specialists together. They have all of them the same email, the email, so they can all connect and know the plan for my son.
You are incredible. Honestly, your son is so blessed to have you as a mother.
Thank you.
You have literally turned your pain into part of your and your son's healing journey. He's so blessed to have you because you're putting in the work, you're putting in the education, the research, studying. You're praying for him. You're doing everything that you possibly can to make this experience so much better. And honestly, you are so inspirational to me, and I'm sure you're inspirational to those who are watching as well. For any mother who has just received a diagnosis, not necessarily of Down syndrome for their child, but just anything that might make them feel like, wow, can I do this? Can I be a mother and embark on this journey that looks quite bleak and quite scary? What advice would you say to any mother who is listening right there? You can look to the camera as well.
Is it?
You can look.
Okay. Here to my lovely sisters, okay? Definitely we all want to make sure as soon as you give birth, there is nothing wrong to your child. No one wants to understand there is something wrong with a little person you are holding into your hands. But you need to understand that little person is alone. There is no one else is going to be able to guide to guide them the way you can do it. If you leave that person on a side because he doesn't meet maybe your standards, let's say, or what people are going to say about you, or you think it's going to be something, it's going to be like a heavy, let's call it something heavy on you, like a weight. Please don't do that. I wish I could have, recovered earlier. I didn't. The best advice I can only give you, whichever diagnosis your child has at birth, after birth, or even when they are older, you never know what can happen. Study the situation. Study the situation to understand what you can do better. Whichever help you have, government, family, finance, anything, take it. Use it on your child. It's been times where I did not have not even one penny because every money is going to my child's therapy. I pay weekly. If I couldn't do my nails, I didn't even care. If I couldn't do my hair, I didn't even care. As long as I know my child is going to therapy every week, that's my aim. So please, if you have the possibility to have something extra and giving them best support, do it. But at home is where you can see the true colors, because at home is when you spend the time. You can do everything with them. How many times I see you on calls and I see your daughter is playing with the water in the garden? That's what they need. They need to be active.
Yes.
They need to see, okay, there is something we need to do, not just be sitting down and, watching whatever, watching anything. What I'm trying to say is, like, let them to enjoy, let them to see, let them to understand this is life. Because you will see the rewards later. Do you know how many kids with Down syndrome, they're actors, they're models on Vogue, they are gymnastics and recognized. They are doing everything. But you know why? The parents. Child, neurotypical child, neurodiversity child. It doesn't matter. You still have to put effort regardless. You still have to do something for them. If right now your little girls, you see she's struggling on maths, are you not going to take them to private maybe teacher? Are you going to just leave her? No, you're going to put the effort for her to get better in maths, for her to be the best, because you want the best for her. This is the same. Child with a special needs shouldn't be someone to make you feel stuck. When my child was born, at 6 months, I took my course for me to do eyebrows. Now I'm doing eyebrows for people. I was, even though I was going through trauma, I said, I have to do something for me to be able tomorrow, I can spend more time for my child and not be always working and not be able to see his development. I have been back to work since my child was born. I haven't been back.
Really?
I'm going back soon.
Okay.
But I'm going back because they know the situation. But I want to make sure I can see my son's milestones achieve. Not going to the nursery and I don't know how is actually the development is going. I want to make sure I do it with him together. And now because he's walking, that's why I say, now you can go to the nursery. Not before. So for all the mothers, honestly, just think thoroughly. If you leave your child alone, who is going to be with them? That doesn't mean when they're going to grow up, it's not going to have anyone. If you show them independence now, they're going to be independent tomorrow. But if you don't show them anything today, definitely your mindset of thinking, what's going to happen when I pass away? Who is going to be with my child? Definitely is going to happen because you have not showed them anything since they were born. Any child, the brain, it absorbs more before 3 years.
Yeah.
Any child, doesn't matter diagnosis or no diagnosis. Please, do it. Inject everything is possible. You know what I mean? Everything. That's what I'm doing with him. And feeding his brain through nutrients, through food. I even done so many courses of food, so I make sure my child is in organic food and gluten-free. Wow. It's expensive, but it's the best for his development. He takes 10 supplements a day. Why? I found functional private doctor where he analyzed his stools, saliva, urine, and blood tests. It goes to a specific laboratory, no general, private laboratory. And they send to his functional doctor what deficiencies are so we can attack there. Just because a child has iron problem, anything healthy public, they will just, iron tablets.
Yeah.
Iron is composed, let's say, by 5 areas.
Yeah.
So one, it might be the one is affected. But in the traditional health, they won't know which one is. But maybe the laboratory will know this is the one is actually affected. We need to attack that one.
You've done your research, girl.
It's a lot I can actually say, but I think it's better if it's any mom over there, it needs any type of advice in terms of child with Down syndrome, I'm happy.
Happy to share.
I'm here. I can
hear
talk
more of you. I'm
here.
Yeah, you know
I'm
so
here.
much. You've been through so
I'm
much.
here.
And I hope this is the start of you sharing more of your story. I want to see more of you sharing your story on your own platform.
We need
as
like
well.
7, like we need like 20 podcasts. We need 20 podcasts, Sandra.
Yes, we do. We're going to end on a slightly high note. So we're going to play a
Yes.
little quick game, this or that. So I'm going to ask you a few
Okay.
questions.
Yes, please.
And you're going to give me quick answers. No thinking too much, okay?
Okay.
This is what I was trying to pull up. All right, so question number 1. Heels or trainers?
Heels.
Coffee shop catch up or solo walk for a breather?
Say again, please. Say again.
Coffee walk or solo walk? Coffee date or a solo walk?
Coffee date.
Coffee date. Therapy session or spa day?
A spa.
She said, duh, spa day. Birth playlist or total silence?
Birth playlist.
Wine and Netflix or herbal tea and journaling?
Wine and Netflix.
Love that. Estefania, you've been amazing and incredible. I cannot wait for the rest of the world to hear your story. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to give you a hug, actually.
Thank you.